I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Greetings, everybody. Happy Thursday morning by the time most of you are watching this. As far as Wednesday night, I had a good one. I haven't lost a bet yet. I had two big bets, too. I had two 1.25 unit bets. Clippers, that second half was sweat-free. And then Lakers-Pacers over, no problem whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm actually right now I still have one bet left. The Suns team total over, but it's my smallest bet, so even if he doesn't hit, good one for me. We are officially going through our first MLB slate of the year here. We're going to do the 4 Sweet 16 games first. And when I say 4, just the ones on Thursday. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., Moneyline Max coming on, and we'll go through these 4 games again. And then we're going to go over the Friday ones as well. And then we'll be back this time tomorrow, and we'll do the 4 Friday ones. But as far as tonight, we're just going to do the 4 that are on tomorrow. First one being, I mean, there's no other way to say this. If you're not on the Cougs, you don't know college ball. I don't even think there's any other way to phrase that. Out the spot, as I tried to explain to these guys last weekend, the spot that bet Alabama was last week. St. Mary's was just outclassed. Even a great defensive team like St. Mary's was not going to be able to stop this offense. Here's the thing. Alabama can't stop BYU's offense. So this line should not be 5.5. It's going to be bucket for bucket. Total's 175. Comes down to the last possession. Maybe Alabama wins, but the Cougs are definitely cover. I actually wouldn't even hate a flyer on the Cougs money line here, but I will be on BYU. Trevor, you with me?
Yeah, Cougs up. Alabama, they got lucky. St. Mary's going to hit a bucket. 3 of 14 from outside. They shot like 31% or some shit inside. They got lucky. BYU is going to score points. Maybe you could argue for Bama that this isn't an elevation, but I don't really care. BYU's gone on the road and got it done plenty of times. So I'll take the 5.5 and a little bonus. It is Bama minus 5.5. You never want to get in bed with a minus 5.5 number.
I just want to be on record. I'm betting BYU because I think it's the correct side, not because I believe in witchcraft or I attended Hogwarts or any of the shit that Trevor's talking about with this 5.5 number. I don't believe in any of that. I'm not scared of the number 5.5. I'm betting BYU because I like the number, not because I'm scared of 5.5. I want to be very clear about that. Toast.
I don't want to be very clear that the idea that you think that you could get into Hogwarts is absolutely appalling.
I'm not saying I would be admitted.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just saying. So, yeah, I'm on BYU as well. A couple of things I just wanted to point out. I do think that Alabama has had a pretty soft schedule, obviously, so far, playing Robert Morris and St. Mary's. And St. Mary's, and like Trevor touched on, St. Mary's couldn't hit a shot at all. And sure, you can tally that to some of Alabama's defense. That's fine. But they're going to be facing a BYU team that's like top 10 in not only overall efficiency as far as an offense, effective field goal percentage, 2-point makes. The only thing that they've really struggled with really over the course of the year, I guess, is from the free throw line. But they've actually been pretty decent over the last couple of weeks. They only had, I think, one bad game on the free throw line. I think that was the Houston game. But at the same time, I don't think that what they're going to see from Alabama is going to be too hard or too much for BYU. I say that is because if you want to take offensively or defensively, we can start defensively. Alabama around 20, let's call it top 25-ish defense. I mean, they faced speaking about BYU, Wisconsin, VCU, Houston, Iowa State twice, West Virginia, Arizona, Kansas, who's number 9. I mean, a lot of those teams in the Big 12 have really good defenses. And then on the offensive side, it's the same thing. I mean, so I do think that BYU can keep up with them. And then my last little nugget sent in by my uncle to me, just a scheduling quirk thing. When Nate Oates has time, other teams, or I should say, teams have time to prepare for Nate Oates, like more than 3 days. Unlike St. Mary's did, they only had like a day to prepare. He's only 2-5 ATS in the NCAA tournament. So I think that BYU has everything that you could possibly ask for to give this Alabama team a run.
Our poll's pretty split, slightly leaning towards BYU, 48%, 42%. I just want to address a comment. I understand the joke that I wouldn't get into Hogwarts, but to suggest that I would be Hufflepuff is insane. I am 100. I mean, if Slytherin has a media department, that's me. I'm a Slytherin guy to the maximum. I respect that they're ambitious. I mean, today's media, they demonify the ambitious house, right? I mean, Slytherin's the bad guys because they're trying to get things done. So I'd be in the media department of Slytherin is where I would fit in. That being said, I've only seen the first movie. All right, Maryland. So maybe Slytherin does some wild shit later on, but I haven't seen
buddy.
Oh, buddy. Don't get me started on Slytherin.
Oh. You know what's crazy is that of all the pop culture stuff, those are the only books that I have.
Yeah,
I've only seen a couple of the movies, but
I'm surprised you knew Hogwarts because I don't even think you could tell us who Kamala Harris is, Toast. But you know Hogwarts, so
no, but that name rings familiar.
Exactly. See,
I've heard it somewhere. I can't figure it out.
Go ahead, everyone. Give me some hot take about how Florida was exposed. Maybe give me a hot take about how UConn showed us that Florida really isn't all that. Tell me how cool the Terps are. Tell me how cool they are, Trevor. I'll be on the Gators.
Yeah, give me Maryland 6.5 here. UConn
really?
just gave. Yeah, I like Maryland. Everyone, UConn gave them a blueprint. You got to play physical. You got to slow them down.
UConn's way better than Maryland.
Okay, buddy, pump your brakes. No, Maryland's got size. They got guard. I will admit they do lack some depth, so that's a little concerning. But I think Maryland knows that, and the way to get home against Florida here, you're going to guard Clayton, and then after that, just make somebody else beat you. I know Elijah Martin's really good. Will Rich is really good, but Derek Queen and Julian Reese down low that can bang and grab rebounds and not give second chances to Florida. Not to mention Derek Queen was hitting threes last game, the game prior, so he's stepping out and making shots. If he can pull Condon or Hoff or Handblogger or whoever out and just leave Reese down there one-on-one, I think they're going to have a lot of success. And the fact that this number's kind of sat at 6.5 hasn't really moved, and everybody and the brothers going to bet Florida. They got the scare out of the way. They survived. Now they got time to prepare. I think this team's, we talked about our show. This team's giving me Clemson vibes from last year. They just find ways to get it done, and they're hot right now. That buzzer beater. They got swagger. They got confidence going on. I like Maryland here with the 6.5, whatever you get. Throw that fake sharp tag up there. I don't care. Let's go Terps. Terp up.
He's wearing it proudly. He enjoys wearing the fake sharp tag. Did not work out for him last time I threw it on him in the.
Well, I will admit, dogs ain't covering shit in this tournament, but I can't be betting favorite. It's not my thing.
So, all right, Trevor just spun you a really magnificent tale, and
it was crazy too. He started talking about Derek Queen shooting the 3-ball, and I got lost. I was like, "What are we doing?"
Did you not see it? He started the game.
He made 4 in 3 months. Trevor, we're done.
And where half of them came? The last game.
Yo.
So what Trevor said,
I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he showed it. So they have to.
I know. I'm
if
just saying.
he hits
think
another
that
one
they're
going
to worry about him shooting the 3-ball. I bet you they're like, "Go ahead, Derek, shoot it up. Show me how good you are."
Makes the first
You're
one
from
or two.
Baltimore, baby. You can do anything.
If he makes one to start the game, that Florida's going to have to kind of adjust a little bit. If they're just going to leave him and he's going to hit him, crazier shit's happened. It's March.
So Trevor described what happened between Florida and UConn as UConn showing us the blueprint to beat Florida. And it's a cool storyline. They would probably say that shit on ESPN, but that's just not what happened. What you saw is Florida's worst fastball, and they still beat UConn. It was their worst fastball. Walter Clayton, Walter Clayton's an NBA player playing amongst boys here. I don't know how he's not projected to go higher. I want him on the Knicks. I want Walter Clayton on the New York Knicks. That is an NBA player. The Terps kind of remind me of Wisconsin in a sense that they just suck, and everyone thinks they're sweet. I think I believe this will be my dog walk of the day. Of the 4 games, if one of them is going to be a dog walk, this is the one here. Gators, double digits.
All right, I'm grabbing money line now too.
Gators alt line minus 12.5 for me. I think that Maryland, I'm not trying to hate on what Maryland has done, and I am fully aware of how well the Big Ten has done in this tournament so far. But for me, is that you have a Maryland team that hasn't seen an offense like Florida the whole year. I mean, maybe you can say Purdue is like in the somewhat of the stratosphere of that, maybe. But at the same time, I mean, this is the best offense in basketball right now, or at least in the country. I mean, and just going back a couple of weeks, the best offense that they've seen, talking about this so good Maryland defense, was Illinois. And I think that we can all together raise our hand and say, yeah, Illinois sucks. We don't have to worry
hold on. Westbury, I have not been fading Florida all year. Come on.
No, you did one time, though.
I faded him with Oklahoma. I think I did it twice.
Who's been absolutely money with these Florida picks the last month or so?
I said the guy with the fake sharp
Anybody
tag.
that bets Florida.
Yeah, this guy. And I bet UConn last game. Oh, no chance. Florida, I'm going to dog walk them. Did not. They should have lost that game outright.
Someone said from Twitter, are we live? Yes, we're live. If you want to join in on the chat, though, mostly everyone's on YouTube. I mean, you can watch from Twitter. It's just mostly everyone is watching on YouTube. So, yeah, we're now witnessing Trevor's first L of the day. You love
Can I
to
just
see
finish
it.
my one point?
Oh,
really
I'm
quickly?
sorry. I cut you off. The comment.
No, you're good. It's not really important. I suck anyway. But my other point to the offense being really good, and they haven't seen an offense, is the defense as well. Florida, a really solid defense, and the only other times that Maryland has seen solid defenses, aka Michigan State and Michigan, they've lost both those games. So that's just kind of where my head's at. Go ahead, Trevor. Please retort.
Michigan State won on a freaking three-quarter court heave, half-court heave.
They win or lose?
Come on. Oh, now we're playing.
Did they cover either? They would have covered too. So I'm just saying.
All
Well,
right.
they would have covered the 6, no problem.
The only reason that Maryland's playing it because they got a lucky buzzer beater yesterday or 2 days ago. So
He did travel, but
it all comes around.
Builds up some confidence.
Interesting one here. I'm inclined to glance at that plus 9.5.
Why?
Because I think Arizona's pretty good, and I was the only one on the panel who believed them in the last one. In the last game against Oregon, you guys were all duck crazy. I tried to tell you no one wanted to listen to Kyle.
I covered. I don't care.
Bullshit cover.
Yeah, you covered on some like what? You had a 4.5.
I had a 5.5. I'm a CLV king. It just is what it is.
Well, what are you going here?
You can put up Duke for me. I really want to bet Arizona. I like the fact that not only are they playing well, but they have a guy in Caleb Love that would love to stick it to Duke just one more time. And he's been kind of playing out of his mind lately for them, coming off a huge performance against Oregon where he scored 30 points or a little bit under 30 points. I just, for me though, it's just there's no point for me to bet against Duke when they have the whistles in their pocket. Like, it's just at this point, it's just getting.
Oh my God! Stop.
Trevor, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Yes or no? I just want to know because I could care less. I'm in baseball mode, but that's how
you're 100% correct. I mean, that Baylor game, Baylor was up on them in the first half,
joke.
and then all of a sudden the whistle came out. 17 more extra free throw attempts for Duke. And
I don't know how many it is. They've probably shot 50 more free throws than the first 2 other teams that they've played. And that's not because they're good and they get to the basket and yada, yada, yada. So I'm not some conspiracy theorist that it's all worried about Duke. I'm not betting the game. But at the same time, there's no way in hell I would bet Arizona because if there's any whistles, it's all going to go to Duke. And until I see otherwise, that's just how I feel.
McIver is typing in all caps, saying Duke up, all caps, just team total over. Everyone else can lick balls, I believe he said. So astute analysis there from McIver. Trev, what side are you on here?
Yeah, if I had to play this, it's going to be Duke.
You have to play it. It's the Sweet 16. You better play it.
Yeah, I'm playing it. Duke minus 9.5. Everybody loves this. Caleb Love has been going nuts. He's going bonkers. He already killed Coach K. Pissed on his grave in the tournament in the Final Four or whatever, and he's going to do it again to Duke here. But this Duke team is, shades of UConn. The last 2 tournaments are just steamroll teams. Not to mention, like Toe said, they got the whistle in their pocket. So anytime shit gets a little dicey, like that first half of Baylor when they were losing, all of a sudden. Whistle, whistle, whistle. We're going to shoot 17 more free throws than you. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're up 17 at half. This is Duke, Cooper Flagg. Tyrese Proctor's playing out of his mind right now. Con Knippel too. Not to mention Malik Brown may be back, but I don't think he will. And even if he does, he's more of a defensive player, so that'll slow down Arizona even more. And Arizona can be a little foul happy down low with Lewis and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, but they do send teams to the line for a fair amount. So I like Duke here. I'll lay the 9.5. That 9.5 for Arizona feels a little baity. Revenge game. Cal Bluff playing really good. Second crack at him, neutral court, all that good shit. But I'm still going to believe in Duke here.
I also really want to put out that Carter Bryant is getting a lot of love in the NBA draft talks, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cooper Flagg just put that kid in a freaking blender over and over again tomorrow night. So
I am going to be on the other side of this one. I don't know. I think Arizona's pretty good, but yeah, I mean, I get it.
And they're not, but
yeah. I would love to bet Arizona. If I would love to, but there's not a chance in hell I can do it.
I'll do it. 55%, 37% in favor of Duke for the poll. So most of the viewers are on Duke. The same with Florida. Someone said, real fat sauce, you're going to get muted. Yeah, that's that guy. That guy has probably made, I'm not kidding, 45 Gmail accounts to talk to me. It's really
That's
crazy.
So wild,
It's
dude.
It's like one of those people, like, that's why I have a very expensive security system in my house. It's people like that. Like, people are crazy, man. Arkansas, Texas Tech. Interesting one. I thought Texas Tech was going to lose in, like, the second round of this tournament, to be honest.
Wilmington gave him a scare.
Yeah, I had Wilmington money line in that. I think that was my only loss of the day, too. That one was Wilmington money line at plus 900.
It's also easy to win games when you play UNC, Wilmington, and Drake. So just throwing that out there.
Trev, what do you think?
Don't disrespect Drake like that.
They got housed.
They hung around for 20 minutes. Give me Hogs up. Calipari notoriously great in the Sweet 16 here, and then like Toast just said, Texas Tech hasn't really been tested, and yet they still have. The first half of that Drake game, and then Wilmington had them on the ropes a little bit there, and they pulled it out. So I think this Hogs team is playing really good. I mean, John L. Davis, Visic, they're all playing really, really good. And then I faded Arkansas with the Boogie Flan news. That's backfired in my face. It hasn't mattered. This team's just rolling. So I like Arkansas here. I think you sprinkle it on the money line. Everybody loves Texas Tech, but Arkansas has just got a little something to them right now, and I don't want to fade them. You're going to give Calipari a week to prepare. You could say he's not much of an in-game coach and this and that, but Arkansas is going to have the massive size advantage. Texas Tech can play bully ball and whatnot, but I think Visic is going to be a big key to this game, and then the guard play for the Hogs too. And you'll have National Player of the Year snub John L. Davis running around getting buckets for Arkansas. So Hogs up.
I kind of want to take Texas Tech, to be honest, but I really don't have any reason why. Toast, you're on the Hogs?
Yeah, yeah, I did. This is one game I actually did bet along with BYU's Arkansas plus 5.5. Like I said, I wasn't really in love with Texas Tech coming into the tournament, and then they've played two of the lackluster teams. Obviously, being a 2 seed, that's what they get, and congratulations for that. And that's why they're here in the Sweet 16. But we have an Arkansas team that's kind of started to find themselves towards the end of the year. Keep in mind, after they had those back-to-back losses on the road to Texas A&M and Auburn, they played that. There was that one game against South Carolina where they just didn't show up, and then they lost to Ole Miss by 3 in the SEC tournament. And as we see, Ole Miss just fresh off of an ass whooping themselves, they're also playing in the Sweet 16, looking to move to the Final Four as well. So the teams that I just feel like Arkansas has been playing very, very good. Not to mention they've beaten Kansas, obviously with Bill Self, and St. John's with Rick Pitino. I don't really think that Texas Tech and Grant McCaslin really fits that bill either. Not to mention the fact that not only do you have guys like John L. Davis and stuff that have been there before and done that, also a lot of those guys like Visic and Brazil, and I think even Carter Knox. All those guys were in somewhat foul trouble, or there was a lot of foul trouble for Arkansas. They used a lot of guys in that game against St. John's, and I think that's only give them more confidence. I mean, Carter Knox is playing out of his freaking mind right now. He was a 6'6" freshman who shot 9 of 11 from the field against St. John's. I mean, and again, if there's one thing that we know about St. John's is that they play one of the best or some of the best defense in the country. So I just have a hard time believing that Arkansas is just going to completely slow down here as well. So Arkansas is probably one of my favorite bets on the board this weekend.
Texas Tech, no reason. Fading the public dog here. I really don't know. I don't feel strongly about either of these.
I saw a comment. Someone did say St. John's didn't shoot for shit and they snuck out of there. Guess what? Arkansas didn't shoot for shit that game either, and they still got it done against Pitino and company. So Hogs up. Let's go.
Yeah,
Everyone fell in love with Arkansas, man.
Arkansas went 2 for 19 from deep against St. John's. I don't think. I mean, I don't. It only gets better, I think.
Can't be any worse.
Let's talk some baseball. Someone said Sauce has time tonight. Yeah, I mean, I should just mute that guy, actually. He goes, fade Sauce. To the next game, I put up Texas Tech. He's like, I'm on Texas Tech. Motherfuckers just lonely folks. We got Brewers, Yankees.
Okay. Give me a second. Switch over. We're good. All right, let's do this.
We're into baseball mode, and we start off with Trevor's beloved Brew Crew. He did take over the win total. Rodon, wasn't he kind of nice in Yankee Stadium last year? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, last year, the year prior, he was a little shaky.
Well, was he with the Yankees the year prior?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. No, he was a little bit.
The White Sox, wasn't he?
No. I'll pull it up right now.
I thought he was on the Yankees for 1 year.
Rodon. Yankees 2023. He started 14 games.
Okay.
3-8 record.
All right. So, are the Brewers going into Yankee Stadium and pulling out a win here, Trev?
I did bet the Brewers. I made this Yankees minus 136 on my number here. So there's a little bit of value on the Brewers that I saw earlier. It's apparently down. So the 131 I liked. Freddie Peralta got a little bit better towards the end of the season there. It's going to be cold out. It's going to be like 45, 50 degrees, windy too. And Rodon had a really good year last year. That's great. I want to see him do it again. The Brewers were not particularly amazing versus lefties on the road last year, but they could still hit lefties. And then you got the Yankees losing Soto, and they've got a different lineup in here coming in. I'm not really sold on the Yankees. I do have Yankees under 89.5 wins too in my pocket. So at the value, I like the Brewers here. I did like the under, but it moved to like minus 120 on the under 8. So I laid off that, and I just took the value with the Brewers here. I did a half unit. I just go a half unit early in baseball to kind of feel it out and see what teams are like.
I'll take the Yankees or pass here. I don't know if I'm going to bet in the MLB, so I'm not going to waste any time. As you guys know, I don't really get into betting MLB until I get my spreadsheets together, and I need a few weeks, and I'm still in NBA mode and all that. So Yankees are past. Toast.
I didn't bet this game. I wanted to see what we were going to get tomorrow morning, this being the first game, and a lot of people probably wanting to bet the Yankees. So I know that the Brewers number has came down a little bit. I'm curious to see what it does overnight and in the morning, because I would assume a lot of people are putting the Yankees in a parlay and whatnot. I like first 5 under 4.5, even that minus 120. I think that would be the best way to play it. I think that everybody who knows me, I think that Freddie Peralta is like one of those guys that I say the definition of average that kind of everybody tries to like. But I do agree that I think that him on the road in a big spot in Yankee Stadium, I think the energy and the juice will be there. So I don't really worry about him pitching bad. It's just the fact that both of these lineups I have a lot of question marks for me, especially on the back end of the lineup. Obviously with the Yankees, with Austin Wells leading off, I don't really know what to think of that. I mean, that guy was so awful to end of the year with the strikeouts, so I don't really know what to think. the reason I'm talking about this under is because of that. And then you have Judge there, but I don't really know what to think of Bellinger. I don't really know what to think of Goldschmidt. I know that they have decent numbers against Freddie Peralta in the past, but again, at the bottom of these lineups with Volpe, Dominguez, Rice, Cabrera, and then on the Milwaukee side, Haas, Frelick, Capara, and Terang. Again, some of those younger guys with Milwaukee have some name value, but as far as doing something on opening day in Yankee Stadium, I'm not really sure. So I do think the best way to play this is under, especially in the first 5 at that 4.5 number before it gets to a 4. But I would lean the Brewers as well. I do think that I think their roster kind of grades out just as well as the Yankees do. I know that the Yankees have a lot of big names, but guys like Goldschmidt and Volpe and Dominguez, and if you're a Yankees fan, Ben Rice, like I know that those names mean something to you guys. They don't really mean nothing to me right now. So I just got to see it first. So first 5 under 4.5 if I had to play it.
Poll is on the Yankees, 55%, 35%. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is Baltimore-Toronto, and I have to say I like your bet in this one, Toast. I checked out your ticket earlier tonight, and I was going to make fun of you. I actually looked at your ticket to pick one to fade, to talk some shit, and I found a bet that I really liked. I think Toronto is the play here, so I agree. I'll be tailing.
Yeah, for me, I just don't. I'm not in love with what Baltimore did over the offseason. I know they didn't really add anything, and that's where I feel like Jose Barrios. If there's one place that we know that we can trust Jose Barrios, it's at home in Toronto. Where that just goes back multiple years now. I don't think that anybody would argue that. And honestly, I don't really hate what Toronto has as far as a lineup concerned. Taking George Springer out of that pressure off of him, out of the leadoff spot, and putting up Bo Bichette in there. I know that Bo Bichette hasn't looked great.
He's bound to bounce back, though. He's bound to bounce back.
He is one of the purest hitters in Major League Baseball. There's a reason that he was close to hitting almost 400 at one point. He's a very good baseball player. He will bounce back. But my point to that is Bichette, Guerrero, Santander is your top 3 bats. That's really big.
Revenge.
They just yeah. And then not to mention the fact that Jimenez is another guy that came over from Cleveland that's really good. Will Wagner was really coming on for them later in the season last year. I can't remember. There was somebody in our Discord that was playing his over 1.5 or a half base almost like every day, it seemed like. I wish I could give that guy some credit. But anyway, he was really good that year. So I don't really worry about that as far as Toronto is concerned. But for Baltimore, I just don't know what you're going to get from them. Zach Eflin on the road is an absolute fade, no question about it. Not to mention the fact that Adley Rutschman really didn't have a great year last year. Do I expect him to bounce back? Yeah, sure. But I don't know really how much. You have guys like Tyler O'Neill coming in, playing in their first game in Baltimore. I just don't really love the setup. And again, the bottom half of that Baltimore lineup with Mullins, Urias, and Jackson Holiday, that's just 3 strikeouts just ready to happen, especially from Jackson Holiday. He's so terrible. So, for me, it's just one of those situations where we're getting a home dog on opening day against a Baltimore team that everybody loves to bet. But at the same time, again, guys like Ryan Mountcastle haven't played in a while as well. So Westerberg was hurt a lot. So I just think that Baltimore, this price is like namesake for Baltimore, and we're getting a nice home dog with a veteran pitcher that we trust, that we know that will pitch well in Toronto at plus 102 or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm all over the Jays tomorrow.
And someone expressed their concern with the Blue Jays bullpen, and I get that. Baltimore does have the better bullpen, but it's opening day. Batista didn't pitch all of last year, so who knows what he's like. And also, what I mean by it's opening day, everyone's fully rested. So even a bad bullpen fully rested can get the job done to win a baseball game.
Also, I would actually argue with that a little bit.
No, like Baltimore's bullpen is better, dude. Come on.
It is better, but there's a huge but to that. Batista is not healthy. That's fine. Sir Anthony Dominguez is not a closer that you can – he's more of a setup guy. So if you're putting him in the closer role, that's not a spot that he's comfortable with. Keegan Aiken is okay. Cano has been up and down.
No, Cano's cool.
He's good, but he's up and down. Gregory Soto, he's rather striking everybody out or he's given up 5 runs. So, again, you can make questions for the Toronto bullpen, yes, but Hoffman, Green, and Yimi Garcia, I think, are just as good as a 3 as Dominguez, Aiken, and Cano, personally.
Trev, you with us on Toronto?
Yeah, I'm on Toronto. I missed the boat a little bit. I got minus 107, but I still took it. I kind of made this more of a pick'em game. Toronto at home, the better lineup. Gunnar Henderson's hurt. You got, like you said, Felix Bautista hasn't played played all year. And then, Kyle Bradish is also dinged up too and not going to be playing. So there's questions around that Baltimore bullpen. And then, like you said, it's day one. Everyone's healthy, ready to go. The energy in the buildings, it's going to be juiced up. So I like Toronto here. I played him with Toast. I saw he was on them, and I looked into it. I was like, I really like this too. But I missed the plus money, but I'll take the minus 107 on Toronto here. And if you want a trend, I believe I saw was Tyler O'Neill's hit like a home run on opening day in like 5 straight years. So if you want to throw a little pizza money or something on a dinger, maybe just have fun there. But I will still be on Toronto here.
We are all on Toronto, and the poll is as well. 60% of the viewers compared to 34. So Toronto seems to be a popular play as far as our community. Next up, I mean, are you crazy? I'm not even big on the Rangers, but we're talking about a Rangers team that everyone has crowned the Rangers the AL West champions already. They're at home.
Crowned Boston.
Thank you.
No, exactly. So no. I'm not saying they're not. I'm saying this price is freaking crazy. Everyone's crowned the Rangers as the AL West champions, right? Everyone's big on this Rangers team. They're at home with their ace on the mound, who was significantly better at home in Texas. How are they underdogs?
Because
this Boston hype is freaking crazy. I'm not even big on the Rangers. It's the Rangers is the play.
No, I know, but I'm dead serious. People like you and I see that, and they're like, "Oh, Nate at home. This is a really good spot." I don't really think the average person sees that. I think the average person sees the Boston Red Sox with Garrett Crochet and Devers and Bregman and Story's back and yada yada yada, and they're going to win the AL East and all. That's what I see and hear a ton. Yes, I think a lot of people like Texas as well. There's no question about it. But I also think that you have people like me, Prop Beaver, and your buddy that's in your ear a lot as well that could be swaying your mind just a little bit. So again, I could be wrong. I already did.
Are you on Texas?
Yeah, I already bet him. Yeah. So I think that Garrett Crochet is a very good pitcher, but I do think that him being in Boston and out of the White Sox is a little bit of a different situation for me, for one. For two, I also think that, like you said, I really like Nate Eovaldi at home. And I also like the fact that the guys on Texas that can really hit left-handed pitching, especially guys like Wyatt Langford and Josh Jung. So I don't think you're going to probably see Jock Peterson, in the lineup tomorrow. I would assume that they probably go with somebody else just because he hasn't been. I mean, he's a guy that just absolutely kills right-handed pitching and is really not great against left-handed pitching. But even regardless of that, Jake Berger, Jonah Heim, Leone Taveras. I mean, I just think that these lineups are very comparable. I mean, I know that Tristan Casas is a really big name for Boston, but again, he's going to be coming back from injury and whatnot. I just think that I think that this line is actually kind of trappy because I thought we were going to get Texas at like plus 110, plus 115 or something like that, just because of how much people talk about Boston. Because keep in mind, Jarren Duran's a leadoff guy for Boston. He won the All-Star League or All-Star Game MVP last year. I mean, Duran, Devers, Bregman, Casas, Story, Abreu. I mean, that's a pretty good starting six, but again, not really sold on the Boston bullpen either. Again, it's day one. It doesn't matter. But I like I said, I made Texas like a minus 110, minus 120 favorite at home. So to get them at a plus price, it was kind of like a no-brainer for me.
Well, this is a baseball chat, but this comment, and I have to say I agree with them. He says, Kyle, you need to enter a blood pact, demon promise, sacrifice a lamb or something to stop betting the Phoenix Suns. I went with the team total over, still didn't go through. Had a great night, though. But, yeah, Phoenix Suns did not go over the team total. Trevor, are you with us?
Yeah, I like Texas here, too. I didn't play it, but, I'm sitting here. I see plus 103. I mean, I think Boston's, they're going to be a good team, but Texas is back. They're healthy. I know Seager's day-to-day, but if he can go, he'll go tomorrow.
They've already said he's playing.
All right, well, then perfect. Then disregard that. So, yeah, Texas will be healthy. They'll be ready to go. Full lineups back. They had a really down year last year. I think they're eager to get out of the gate here and put on a good show, especially at home. And I think the Boston love's good, but, they've got a tough schedule to start the season here. And it's Crochet's first game with this team, maybe a little bit of pressure. He kind of doesn't play as good as he will. So I like Texas here plus 103. I made this kind of more like Boston, like minus 108. So there's some value on
Texas minus 118.
I know. I'm saying my numbers, but it's also game one of the year. So they
Boston overhyped, Garrett Crochet overhyped name. We're talking about Nate at home. He was a beast at home. Texas is the play.
And a Texas lineup that's healthy and had a bad year. They're going to get back to it.
I agree with that. And also, I know that there's probably some questions about the Texas bullpen, but they have 3 guys that there's a lot of people that probably don't know who they are. Chris Martin, Robert Garcia, and Luke Jackson. And all those guys have K per nines over 10, which tells you that they're striking out a guy, at least one guy, every time they go to the mound. So that's a really positive thing if you're looking at as far as that game.
Well. It's been a few months, Philadelphia Phillies. For those of you that don't know, this is my least liked franchise in any sport. I'm not a Phillies guy. Is Mackenzie Gore the Philly Slayer? Is that, I know one of those Nats is a Philly Slayer. Is it Gore? I think it's one. It's one of those lefties, man. It's either Gore. It's not Corbin. Corbin's not there anymore.
I mean, he was all right for some last year. I mean, he had a blow-up game, but he wasn't terrible.
There's one Nats lefty that pitches well. No, it's not Gore, I don't think. Who is it?
Hold on. I hate that all my baseball shit is.
I think it's Mitchell Parker, right, dude. Is it Mitchell
God
Parker?
Mitchell Parker. No, I'm pretty sure that you're right. Pretty sure it's Mitchell Parker.
You got to go Phillies minus.
Trevor Williams? No. Trevor Williams.
I think it was a lefty. You got to go Phillies minus 1.5 here, right?
Trevor, go ahead. Hold on.
Yeah, I kind of liked Washington at the value. I don't think it's Trevor Williams.
No question.
It's Trevor Williams, 3-1 ERA in his last 5, or 3-1 in his last 5. He did have a blow-up game, otherwise 0-3, 0-6-3. So, he hasn't been bad. But yeah, for value, I kind of liked Washington here, but I want no part of this. Philly's good. You got Wheeler going. That's their guy. But Mackenzie Gore, I've seen a lot of people hyping him up. They don't mind him, and I could see it. It's just Toast is shaking his head, so Toast too. So I could see it. But do I want to get involved with a Washington money line day one? No, I don't. So I'll take Washington for the value here, but I will not play it.
Someone said, "Give me the Nationals." Sauce, demand Toast to tell you about James Woods. I know who James Wood is, man. He was there last year.
Dylan Cruz, the Cruz missile.
Yeah, and
they've got a great young core.
This Nationals team, though, I mean, this is one of those games that if this is played in late July, this is Phillies minus 240. This is this opening day. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. One thing I do know what's going to happen is Zach Wheeler's going to be a monster this year. This is not the Marlins. Wheeler struggles with the Marlins. This is not the Marlins. I mean, the Washington's not going to score any runs, Toast.
What? I don't know about that, bro.
You take Phillies minus 1.5, or if you're not sold on the Phillies bats coming out hot, you take the under. That's how you bet this game. Don't try to be fake sharp like Trevor. I'm putting the tag up for Trevor.
No, I'm not betting the game.
Oh, you can put it up for me because I'm probably going to end up betting it. I just have to see what it is.
This is a fake sharp.
I hear that
shit.
a lot. Again, if this isn't, I love Zach Wheeler's probably one of my favorite pitchers in Major League Baseball. This isn't like me trying to take down him in any way, shape, or form. But I will say this: there's multiple guys on this team that have had a lot of success against Zach Wheeler. Josh Bell, Keibert Ruiz, C.J. Abrams, Paul DeYoung, Nathaniel Lowe. All those guys are 1-dot OPSing against him. If they're not 1-dotting him, they're pretty damn close. And if you guys are new here, 1-dot means they're over 1.00 whatever OPS, which is like very, very good. So you just say 1-dot and it picks it over. So all those guys are pretty close to 1-dot OPS in this guy. And yeah, we can talk about James Wood. We can also talk about Dylan Cruz. We can also talk about CJ Abrams, because those are the 3 young guys at the top of that Nationals lineup. And I'd almost think they're too young and dumb to know any better that they're not supposed to play well here. So I'm just at a spot where I don't think that the Phillies, especially with their bullpen situation, I don't think they should be laying this big of a number regardless of where they are. Keep in mind that they have a guy in Jordan Romano now closing games that really couldn't figure it out in Toronto after a really good couple of years. Do I expect him to pitch well for them? Yes, but I'm not at a point where I'm going to be laying this number with them. And then Kirkring, Avocado, and Strahm. I mean, sure, Strahm is really good, but he's like a middle reliever. Like, he's literally like the only guy I trust in that bullpen. Until we see Jose Alvarado come out and throw strikes, he can't be trusted. That's point blank period. That's easy money. But until then, I mean, I just don't see anybody in the Phillies bullpen that I worry about. And again, I have a Nats lineup that not only is a combination of good young talent, but a lot of solid veteran guys too, like Keibert Ruiz and Paul DeYoung and Luis Garcia. So for me, I think all the value is on Washington. Do I end up actually betting them? I don't know, but I think that people are kind of sleeping on this Nationals team. I mean, Luis Garcia has batted almost 300 last year, and he's like what, in your 6th hole. So again, I just don't think that the Phillies lineup is so much better than the Washington Nationals lineup as we speak right now. Once these guys get going, maybe so. I could keep going, but I'm not going to.
Phillies are also old.
Yeah, I think the Phillies could win the World Series this year, though. So I have to calm myself down.
They're getting old. Just take the +1.5.
I would never.
I think Phillies win 4-1. Next up, because Mackenzie Gore is cool. He can pitch.
I was gonna say there's the part of me that really likes it is because I am in love with Mackenzie Gore. I truly believe he's going to be one of these breakout guys this year. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Angels, White Sox, Kikuchi.
I know, right? It's weird, huh? I had to
what?
You have to get used to it. Yeah.
I can't even picture him wearing red. He's just a blue guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Burke from last year. He pitched with the White Sox last year. I mean, I have no idea. Toast, you have White Sox over 51.5 wins. So is this one of them?
I would say White Sox are pass. I have really no interest betting this game. I do think that it's absolutely insane that the Angels are -155 favorites. And that doesn't even mean that I think that Kikuchi's
road
bad.
favorites.
When you factor in the fact that they're on the road and their lineup, I mean, again,
Why
I know
are we
that
hesitant,
they have,
bro.
huh?
The Angels is -155 favorites on the road, dude. Kikuchi's not even good on the road.
I know. I'm just.
Dude,
I'm
why are we
trying
betting
to-
this?
Because I want to see what the line does a little bit because it continues to go up. That's another thing is that this line has continued to go up for the last day and a half, 2 days. So
Wait, we have the Angels on the road, -155 favorites. I know the White Sox are trash. Are we really certain the Angels are going to be that much better than the White Sox this year?
Absolutely not.
I honestly, this might be my first baseball bet of the year. The Angels on the road, -155 favorites is freaking crazy.
I 100% agree. And I truly believe that the White Sox lineup is better than what people give them credit for. I mean, Slater, Robert, Benintendi, Vaughn, Vargas, all those guys are somewhat formidable bats. So again, do the Angels have Mike Trout? Yeah, but you look at that lineup and you see a guy like Jorge Soler. Who cares? He had one good postseason with Atlanta. I don't understand why everybody worries about this guy. They have Yoan Moncada on that team. That's all you need to know. That's how bad the Angels are. They're going to lay -155.
We got our baseball people coming out of the woodworks, people we haven't seen in a while. Says, let's get down to the nit and gritty. Let's talk about barometric pressure.
It's coming.
From last year.
We all know it's coming.
And then also said, Kyle, the shit Sox are not winning. Trev?
Yeah, I've got a couple ways I want to play this. I'm not sure how. I kind of want to back the Angels. Can't play -1 whatever on the money line. So 1.5 plus 120. That was tempting. I know it's the Angels and Kikuchi on the road, but it's the fucking shite Sox. What are we doing?
Wait, you're gonna lay 1.5 with the Angels on the road?
I'm not sure yet. I might play the under because I don't see the White Sox having a lot of success here. I mean, they don't hit Kikuchi well. They're 12 of 63 lifetime. This lineup against him, and the Angels haven't seen Sean Burke. I'm not saying Sean Burke's good, but they've never seen him, so maybe they start slow here. So the under I was looking at too. So I don't know how I'm going to play this, but I am tailing my buddy. He's on Sean Burke under 13 or 14.5 outs, and I like that. I don't see him going 5 innings into this game, so I'll play that. But I want to play this game another way somehow. I'm not sure yet how.
All right. So it's there is almost 800 people in here. That's just freaking crazy.
Let's
1 in the morning.
No.
We freaks, let's go get some sleep. We got Giants, Reds in a pick. Toast, my friend runs a pool every year where you take all 30 teams, you take over under wins, and then you pick each division winner and you pick a World Series champion. I took the Reds as my World Series champion in the pool.
Nice.
I'm on board. I'm a little worried about the back end of the rotation, but I love bolstering the bullpen. That lineup's they're primed to explode this year. This is going to be a top 7 lineup in Major League Baseball with a greatly improved bullpen. I'm down to back the Giants at home where the wind swirls. I'm told. but Reds shouldn't be dog.
Brother.
Reds should be laying -122 juice here. This is a gift, Reds.
I just want to say, if you're one of those 800 people and smiled when he said swirls, I respect you and I thank you for coming back.
Yeah, they remember that from last year. I feel like baseball, we have the most inside jokes.
Yeah. So for me, I do like the Reds here. I want to say a couple things. This isn't like me trying to just fade the Giants. I do think that the Giants are going to be a formidable baseball team this year. I do think that their season win total is worth a look on the over. That being said, just a lot of new pieces coming in for San Francisco. Obviously, you have Late Night Lamont leading them off, but Willy Adames coming over from Milwaukee. Again, this has nothing to do with Trevor being on the show, but I've never really been a big fan of Willy Adames. He had a fantastic year last year. Not going to take anything away from him. But at the same time, I mean, his 793 OPS, I mean, that was by far some of the best in his career. I think that he might have had one of those, maybe a little bit closer to that at the beginning of this year. But besides that, that was like the best you're ever going to see Willy Adames. And I don't really think that now, especially playing in San Francisco, I think that's really going to help. All that being said, that doesn't really matter for today because they're going to be playing in Great America. But I just wanted to point that out there, that I don't really think that adding Willy Adames really does much for me. But I think that Jung-Ho Lee being back in the lineup playing center field, that's huge. I don't know where they're going to put him in the lineup tomorrow, but regardless, he was one of those hit runs and RBI kings for us last year until he went down. I expect him to be better, but there's just a lot of questions in the back end of that lineup. I mean, Patrick Bailey's a really good hitter, our catcher, but as far as hitting and stuff is concerned, I'm not really there yet. Yastrzemski's absolutely terrible. I know that Sauce loves him some Mike Yastrzemski. He's absolutely
the man.
He's terrible. So, but besides that, I don't really like Logan Webb on the road. I know if there's one place that we know to back Logan Webb, but that's at home. And if you take a look at his home and a road splits, let's just use last year. I mean, it's a stark difference between what he's doing. I mean, OPS plus, WRC plus, whatever you want. Teams are averaging like 70, 75 OPS or WRC plus at home against him. On the road, that's close to 100. I mean, a 25-point difference is pretty huge. I mean, teams are batting 230 against him at home. They're close to 280 on the road. I mean, the slugging goes up 50 points. The OPS goes up almost 200 points. So again, and now you're going to be starting the year in Great America Ballpark. Not a spot that I really want to be in with them. And then on top of that, the bullpen is going to need some work. I know that Ryan Walker's okay, but Tyler Rogers, Duvall, Eric Milner, all those guys are kind of coming off of like so seasons that I kind of have to see before. Tyler Rogers is fine, but Duvall and Milner kind of suck. Milner can strike people out, but if he can't find the strike zone, it doesn't really matter. So I just feel like there's a lot of advantages for Cincinnati. I know that the Cincinnati bullpen isn't fantastic, but I do think that they have put together the way that they want.
That bullpen's sweet. I love that bullpen.
Well, my point is that you're not going to get a whole bunch of big names, but the reason that I like it is because of Terry Francona. First of all, you don't have David Bell running the show anymore, who's absolutely terrible at his job, but you have Pagan, Rogers, Centillion, Barlow, and Ashcraft, and none of those guys are the closer. So they could be coming in at any time. And if there's one or two guys in Major League Baseball that I trust managing a bullpen, it's Terry Francona. We obviously saw what he did with Cleveland. And if there's one team last year or the last couple of years that just ran the shit out of their bullpen over and over and over again, and they continued to perform, it was the Cleveland Guardians, whatever. I have a hard time believing he doesn't pull the right strings here in Cincinnati as well. So not huge on Hunter Green, but at the same time, I do think that this Reds lineup is absolutely stacked with Friedel, McLean, De La Cruz at the top, and even CES, Jake Fraley, and Trevino at the bottom. Like, I really don't think it's that bad of a lineup. So I think we have a starting lineup advantage. I think we have a bullpen advantage, and we can call the starting pitching a wash. But Cincinnati at home at a short price is easy money for me.
Trevor, we sweeping?
No, I kind of like the Giants. I know Logan Webb's not great on the road, but it's going to be a cold day. The Giants lineup isn't terrible. Like, I don't hate it. They've added some pieces, and to Toe's point, Willie's played in this ballpark a ton, like coming from Milwaukee, so he's familiar with it. But the high total of 8, like I get Logan Webb could get hit up here, but at a pick 'em here, I don't know. The Giants look decent in spring training, which means absolutely nothing, but they were scoring runs, they were producing. And now we're going to go to Cincinnati, who everybody's all hyped up on and loves to, which I do too. I think they're going to be good too, but just out the gate at a pick 'em, like I gotta go with the Giants here. So I'll take the Giants.
Bad pick.
Got it. All right, we'll find out.
Let's move on to the next one. And I mean, sometimes, look, the sports books, they have a lot of resources. They do the best they can, but sometimes they let things slip through the cracks. And we have the best team in the NL sitting at plus money. So rather than overthink it, oh, what am I missing? You're not missing anything. This is just the bookmakers making a mistake. The Mets should be laying minus 116 here on the road in Houston. That's where I'd price it. Maybe even minus 120 if you factor in the high upside for Clay Holmes this year. It's the best lineup in baseball. It's also, there's more to baseball than just names on a paper. They just have the it factor. We saw it last year on the magical run. Framber's going to get smacked the hell.
Watch your mouth.
Mets team total over. Mets, money line, Mets. Trevor, are you with me?
Yeah, this is kind of just a ridiculous number. Like I don't want to back the Mets, but I will. Like plus money. Clay Holmes isn't terrible. And then like we talked about last night, Houston's got a lot of holes and a lot of issues coming for this team. Like Framber's really good, but we've seen him have just absolute duds. Yeah, we have Toast. Come on, it's not often, but he does. He does do it.
It's just not you, but the disrespect of Framber Valdez is just unbelievable.
Well, he's a great pitcher. He's a great pitcher. You could argue elite, but he does have some freaking duds, just like everybody else. He does have some duds, and this Mets lineup, Kyle, plug your ears. They're not a bad lineup. They're pretty good. You know, I'll give it to them. They're pretty damn good. And now, like we talked about last night, all the problems with Houston, you know, no Kyle Tucker. You got Altuve in the outfield. It's just there's going to be a whole bunch of issues that they have to figure out. This feels like a line that's based off just the Astros name. I know the Mets had a really good year last year, but minus 132 for Houston without some of these pieces, and you're shifting around Altuve to the outfield. You got new guys coming in. I'll take the Mets at plus money.
Toast, are you with us?
I'm not. It'd be under a pass for me.
Under?
Yeah, under. Framber Valdez at home versus a lot of right-handed bats. Are you kidding me? Like, what are the Mets going to do against Framber Valdez at home? They're
gonna score a lot of runs. That's what they're gonna do, just like they did all last year.
Yeah, I bet. I really want to play the Mets, but I just can't really get there because I know that Framber versus right-handed pitching or right-handed bats is one of the best in baseball. 71 OPS plus. I mean, teams are barely slugging 300 against him. And at home last year, he was 9-2. So for me, it's just really hard to get there with the Mets. At the same time, there's not a chance in hell. You can put up the Mets for me, but at the same time, there's not a chance in the hell that I would bet Houston here because of the outfield issues. This game's an easy pass for me. Again, if there was a little bit more lefty bats in that Mets lineup, then maybe I could get there. But you have Lindor, who's a switch, and Soto and Nimmo, and besides that, it's a whole bunch of righties, which shouldn't fare well against Framber Valdez. And I also think that Clay Holmes should be able to pitch well. My issue with the Astros is that I don't trust the outfield. I said it last night, and I will say it really quickly again. When you have a rookie in Cam Smith who's supposed to be really good, but still hasn't played Major League Baseball, Jose Altuve, who's never played outfield in Major League Baseball, and Jake Myers, who's not even average in Major League Baseball, it's really hard for me to trust that team and back them, especially in a spot like this. So there's just too many questions here for me to bet this game. It'd be Mets or under if I had to.
Someone said,
I was just say Bregman's gone. Forgot he's in Boston now too. So there's that piece too.
Apparently, according to these guys, Jose Altuve playing left field is the worst thing to ever happen to baseball, and the Astros might not win 40 games.
It would be funny.
You scolded me about that, and then there you are betting.
Well, I didn't know they were going to be playing God's gift on opening day. Gotta love a good old AL Central battle. 7.5's a high total for the AL Central. No, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Let me take that back. Last year, we were seeing consistent 9s and 9.5s in this ballpark last year. As Toast
under City.
Yeah, I mean, but they put 7.5 based on what the totals we were seeing in this ballpark last year, extremely low. Because like I said, we were seeing 9s, 9.5s. Maybe because of the ballpark, or maybe because the Royals lineup was incapable of hitting anywhere else but this ballpark. Cole Reagan's at home. I like Tanner Bybee. But Cole Reagan's beast at home. The Royals lineup hits better at home. 130 minus 130 seems like a reasonable price. I think all three of us agreed that a lot of things should regress here for Cleveland this season. This is a Royals bet, right?
Yeah, it'd be the only way I'd bet it personally. I haven't bet this, probably won't bet it. But I do think that, especially on the Cleveland side, you're just asking a lot from a lot of new young guys. Obviously, at the top with Juan Ramirez and Lane Thomas, all those guys are back. But I love Big Christmas, but Noel is one of those guys that, again, we'll see what happens when he's playing every single day. Manzardo, another guy, Bo Naylor, Rocchio. I mean, it's just none of those guys really jump off the page for me. And you have a Kansas City team that's started to spend a little money. They're starting to feel themselves a little bit. They have a veteran-laden lineup with Mark Hanna and Renfroe at the end. I'm not a big Cole Reagans fan. That's where my head's at on this one. So I lean the Royals, but I'm just personally not a big Cole Reagans fan. I know how good he's been. But at the same time, it's just there's something about him that I just don't feel it. So I'm going into this season really trying to pay attention, because if you remember, he was really shaky, I guess, kind of to start the year last year. And then kind of like as August and September kind of came around, more or less, he started to look a little bit better. But I'm just not in a spot where I'm in love with Cole Reagan to lay this number against a Cleveland team that constantly is always decent. I guess I'll just put it that way.
Where are you at, Trev?
I kind of like the under. Bybee was really, really good on the road last year. He sucked at home. And it's going to be cold out. You know, Cleveland's due to regress. They kind of played over their heads last year. And the weather, you got Bybee and Reagan's going. I think Kansas City can get it done outright, but I kind of like the under. This feels more like a 3-2, 4-2 kind of game. So getting 7.5, I like that with these two pitchers that are on the mound. Maybe a first 5 under if you just don't want to factor in the bullpens and deal with that.
No, Kansas City's these are good bullpens though.
They're not bad, but I mean, it's opening day. You kind of I don't really want to pay to find out some of these bullpens, but you're going to get Reagans and Bybee at good spots for home and away here. I kind of like the first 5 along with the game under.
All right, it is now time to talk about Paul Skeens. Well, we know what Toast is going to be on, and the reason we know, those of you that tuned in last year know that Toast and Paul Skeens have an open rivalry. Those of you that have been tuning in for 2 straight years also know that Toast has a weird obsession with Sandy Alcantara. So this is Toast's least favorite pitcher to bet against his favorite pitcher to bet, and he's getting plus 126, plus 130. I can guarantee you Toast is on the Marlins here, and I don't know that for a fact, but I can guarantee it.
There's no way in hell I'm laying minus 150 with the Pittsburgh Pirates on the road on opening day. I don't care if God was on the mound. There's not a chance in hell I would do that.
God's got a really slider.
He does. Part of the reason that I love Sandy, if you guys are new here, is that my first ever video on the channel was Sandy at plus money with the Marlins, that he cashed that. Yeah. He also won a Cy Young bet for me as well. So there's a lot of reasons that I really love Sandy. Paul Skeens, on the other hand, doesn't know how to wash his face and stole a family trip to Italy from me. So it's just really hard for me to back a guy like that. I honestly, betting the game, it's simply a numbers thing. I think that Paul Skeens should pitch well. I think that Sandy should pitch well. It's just a matter of which one of these bullpens folds first. Neither one. I guess you can have a small lean to Pittsburgh as far as that bullpen is concerned, but you're getting a home dog in Miami with their ace on the mound coming back with a whole bunch of guys that kind of played last year. And again, I don't really hate him. I think that Xavier Everett should be decent. I do still think that guys like Kyle Stowers still have a little bit of something left in there. So again, you can put up Miami for me. I probably won't bet it. We'll see what happens with this number if it continues to go up. I do feel like people are going to bet Pittsburgh, so I want to see
as they should.
If this line gets up to 160 or so, I will be on the Marlins for sure.
Wait, plus 160?
No, the Pittsburgh gets up to like minus 160.
It's close. Well, like, I mean, let's take a step back here. We're talking about one of the best, if not the best, starting pitcher in Major League Baseball against the worst team in Major League Baseball. Minus 148 seems like a really reasonable price for that type of matchup. Sandy Alcantara hasn't pitched. I mean, how good do we even think he's going to be?
He's been fine. He's fine.
I know laying minus 148 on the road with the Pirates seems unreasonable. I think this should be minus 165. Honestly, the best pitcher in baseball against the worst team in baseball. Trev, you're with me, right?
Yeah, I like Pirates at 5, laying the half run here. I mean, just don't even deal with the bullpen. Alcantara, like you said, hasn't pitched in a full year. Now he's going to come in here, and a lot of people are expecting this to be like, 1-0, 1-1 after one. But I don't really know if the Marlins can really hit Skeens. Maybe you play like Skeens to record a win or something. Just go 5 innings, and then you got to rely on the bullpen, which is scary. But This Pirates lineup, I mean, they're batting .302 with a .547 slug against Alcantara, expected .550 or 38 slug with a .293 batting average. I don't think that, they've already hit him well. You got Alcantara hasn't pitched in a year. I think the Pirates can at least have a lead after the first 5 here, and it's minus 105. I'll take that.
Should be free.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I think I might bet the Pirates.
Dude. Okay. You know what? Make me bet the Marlins. Go ahead.
Interesting one here. On one hand, you have the Atlanta Braves, where Toast declared their over-win total was free. They're going to be a powerhouse. They have a lot of pieces of the lineup that are due for positive regression. Blah, 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 blah. The Braves are the best. I hate it because I hate their fans. Blah, 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 blah. The Braves are elite. On the other hand, it's his boy, Michael King, at plus money. At plus money.
Ooh, and at home at plus money. At home at plus money. This is
You know what? You know where you go here is you go right here, Toast. 1 second. Over. 6.5. Can you get a 6.5?
You took my wind out of my sails.
Yeah, you go over here.
The reason that I did this, or wanted to play over, and I kind of lean the Padres, has nothing to do with all the BS that we like to joke around about. But Manny, Xander, Yuli, and Fernando Tatis all have fantastic numbers against Chris Sale in his career. I only think again, and then when you add on the fact that the Braves are still going to be playing with, Baldwin, Kelnick, Arcia, Harris at the bottom of that lineup. I do think that there is some ways that San Diego should have success there, but I do think that the Braves are the better team. There's no question about that, but I also feel that San Diego can score a few runs off of Chris Sale. I don't really know what to expect from Michael King. I know that he's been very, very good, but he's also to the point where he was, and I'm not even joking around, I'm being dead serious. Like, he was almost to the point where he's so good that regression is going to come. Like, I don't know if we can expect him to be that almost Cy Young caliber type of pitcher that he was last year. I sure hope as hell that he does, but I don't know if I'm going to be paying.
You could say the same thing about Sale, bro.
You could, yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I feel like I have to say things like that because everybody knows that I'm a Padres homer. So I have to make sure I give a full story on what's going on here. So definitely over. If you can find a 6.5, I will bet that right now. I'll go look right now. But regardless, it's over or the Padres, just at plus money. Again, I think that Atlanta, the time to be betting in Atlanta is when they start getting healthy, or at least when they have a guy that can catch, like Baldwin has had some time in Major League Baseball. Because a rookie catcher, you never really know how that's going to work out. Again, there's just little things that I don't like about Atlanta early in this season.
Trev, what do you think?
Yeah, Padres money line. I like it. Like Toast said, they have great numbers versus Sale. Sale had a great year last year, but San Diego at home, Michael King, it's San Diego. What's it going to be, like 65 degrees, 70 at least? I mean, it's going to be
it's a little cloudy, actually, unfortunately.
Oh,
it could be a little cloudy tomorrow. Probably low 60s tomorrow in beautiful San Diego, unfortunately.
Don't go to Point Loma.
Just go straight to the game, guys.
They're going to wear their face masks and shit.
I mean,
no, I think the Padres will be able to score runs here. They're over 2.5 is minus 150. It's full game. I was kind of tempted, but I don't want to lay minus 150.
What's the Braves? Seriously.
Braves is 3.5 juiced under minus 120.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
Well, they're missing Acuna and Murphy and Strider.
I know. Yeah, I know, but they still, that line, adding Profar, the only things that you worry about is Baldwin, Kelnick, and Arcia. Also, another reason, a small thing now that I have my notes popped up, Lockridge from the Padres. I know that nobody knows his name. He's a young kid. He came over from the Yankees, smashes lefties as well. So there's a lot of positive things as far as especially the Padres hitting left-handed pitching.
Twins, Cardinals in St. Louis. Royce is not going to be ready to start the season, right?
No.
I think the Twins are the move here, dude. I've always said in years past that no matter how bad it looks for the Cardinals, they're a good organization and they'll find a way to win 87 games. I think they might be bad this year. I don't like the Cardinals this year.
Did you see who's starting for the Cardinals today?
Yeah, and I think I think you were a year early with your take.
Either way, he sucks. So
he was not bad at home.
He was fine last year. Toast was trying to say his arm was dead.
He had an ERA at 4. Okay,
due to the road.
4. I don't give a shit. If we're talking about Sonny Gray, who we're paying all this money to be our ace, I want the Sonny Gray that we got in Minnesota, and stuff like that. I don't know.
The Twins then.
Dude, he had a 2.79 home ERA and a 5.20 road ERA last year.
Oh, that's nice.
Who on the Twins?
No, I don't know. I'm not going to be on the Cardinals, but
you know why he had good home numbers? Because he was playing teams like, let me go through it: Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Washington, the Cubs, Cincinnati again, San Francisco.
He didn't play anybody tough on the road or
sucks.
Easy on the road.
Sucks.
I'm not saying he's great, but he's better at home. But I still won't bet the Cardinals. I'll take the Twins with you.
I'm not betting this one though.
No, I'm not either.
I think the Twins might be good when they get healthy though. I think
a lot of people
I still think that the Twins are fine right now. I truly believe that. I think that their lineup. Okay, let's just start with the Cardinals just really quickly. Their lineup is absolutely terrible. Newbar, Contreras, Donovan, Arenado, Burleson, Herrera, Jordan Walker, terrible. Victor Scott, terrible. Mason Wynn can play shortstop, but he can't hit for shit. There's nobody in that lineup that scares you at all. At all. Does Alec Burleson have some power every once in a while? Sure. But, Minnesota, they have their own, Timu version of Kyle Schwarber at the top of their lineup and Matt Wallner. I don't know if they actually bat him one, but that's the same type of situation you have in Minnesota as you have in Philadelphia with a guy that can take his walks, that can hit the long ball, and Matt Wallner. You still have Correa, Buxton, Larnach. Jose Miranda, a guy at third base that's kind of starting to figure things out a little bit. You got my boy, the godsend from Canada himself, Eddie Julian, in that 7 spot. Ty France is another solid bat, and Willie Castro played really well for them last year. So there's a lot of things in that Minnesota lineup to really like, especially at the back end of that, and not to mention the fact the bullpen situation, huge advantage to Minnesota with Duran, Jackson, Sands, all those guys very, very good compared to what you're going to see out of the Cardinals situation. We already know that the Cardinals had issues last year in their bullpen. I know that they have Helsley there, but he's only going to be there in a close situation. So if they're in a close situation, we're already going to be beat anyway. But besides Helsley, what's his name? Ryan Fernandez, Jojo Romero, Phil Maton. It's a soft spot from Phil Maton. Respect to Phil Maton. But everybody else in that lineup in that bullpen is pretty bad. So I will be betting the Twins tomorrow, yes.
I will not. But I agree the Twins are the pick. I accidentally ended the poll. So we got Tyreek Skubal at plus 138. You do not get the Scoop Man at plus 138 very often. In fact, on the road against the Dodgers and Blake Snell might be the only time you would ever see Skubal at a price like this. So on one hand, it's how do you pass up the Scoop Man at plus 138? And on the other hand, it's how do you pass up betting the Dodgers at home with Snell on the mound at a relatively affordable price? We got a total at 6.5. If you trust Skubal, why wouldn't you just go something like this? Plus 1.5.
Yeah, minus 160. It's a steal.
What do you like?
Over 6.5, Tigers first 5 money line. That's what I like. I just clicked out of my notes.
So you like
section.
the Tigers to get the Snell?
I do. Hold on 1 second. I just clicked the wrong X. Okay. I think
What's
that
Tigers' first 5 money line at?
Plus 120. I do think that the Tigers are a little bit better than people give them credit for. I think that adding Gleyber Torres is a really big for them. So you have Ibanez, Torres, Riley Green, a dark horse MVP candidate, Spencer Torgerson, Kerry Carpenter. Riley Green is the truth. So you can
not
say
an MVP candidate.
Yes, he is. He is a dark horse MVP candidate. I will hear nothing else of that nature. Riley Green is an absolute stud. And then at the bottom of that lineup, again, Colt Keith, Javier Baez, all those guys aren't fantastic, but at the same time, you're getting a Dodgers team that had to go to Tokyo, had to come play 2 regular season games in Tokyo, then had to come back, had to play 3 exhibition or 2 exhibition games, whatever the hell it is. And now they have to get back up and play regular baseball games. I just don't really like that spot for them. I don't really like the spot for Blake Snell. I love Blake Snell. Blake Snell has been one of my favorite pitchers in Major League Baseball for a very, very long time. But if there's one thing that we know about Blake, is that if he has a good year, he usually follows it with a bad year. There's at no point in Blake's career where he's like, oh, this guy's been dominant for multiple seasons back to back to back. So I love Blake Snell. He pitched fantastic for the Padres. He won a Cy Young, all that good stuff. But my point being is that I don't know if he can actually do that. We saw him be somewhat vulnerable in San Francisco last year, especially at the beginning of the year. I understand that some people think that had to do with him not being in spring training. Maybe so. But regardless of the fact is that I'm not really sure if he should be commanding this price. Again, I don't really like the spot for the Dodgers in general, but it wouldn't surprise me for Skubal to pitch 5 or 6 innings, to him to pitch well, and then to have them bring in that bullpen, and then the Dodgers put some runs up on the board. So again, I played both of both bets I did make. I played the over, and I played over 6.5, and I played Tigers first 5 because I do think that they have a significant pitching advantage in the first 5.
Trev?
Yeah, I agree with 100% everything you said. Detroit first 5. I'll take the plus half because, I mean, if the Tigers don't score, I'm not going to be entirely shocked. Hey, it's minus 120. I don't hate it. But so I'll take the first 5 plus a half. But I'll put a little half unit on full game money line. My model's got this minus 134 for the LA. I mean, like you said, you're getting Skubal at plus 155. Like, what the hell? This is up to minus 188 now. So I mean, like, it's obviously people are just hammering LA. So like, just let it sit. Like, wow. I'll let this move. I'll take the Detroit.
Dodgers? I thought people love Skubal.
It's the Dodgers. But to Cho's point too, they just traveled from friggin' Tokyo, and now like Blake Snell, he's good. Like, shout out him for winning me that Cy Young bet. But I want to see him have another good year before I like bet money on it. So I mean, Detroit first 5. And half on the first 5, half on the full game. I'll take it.
Also, one other thing. I know that the Tigers aren't going to have Parker Meadows in the lineup tomorrow, but also keep in mind, Ohtani will be fine, obviously, but Freddie Freeman's still dealing with a rib injury. That's the reason why he didn't play in Tokyo, or maybe only had 1 at bat or whatever it was. And then what's his face? Mookie Betts is down 50 pounds or whatever like that. So even if he does play, I don't really know what to expect from Mookie Betts. My point to all that being, it's not the same Dodger lineup that you think you're getting paying that price. So just keep in mind.
Yeah, not to mention Phillips and Gratterall are still hurt too, and then Kopech's out. Like, they got injuries.
Cubs Snakes. I disagree with your pick here, Toast.
When's the last time you ever got anything right in the state of Arizona betting this baseball?
No, it's just totals.
Oh, okay. Just totals.
Just totals.
Fair. I apologize then.
So go ahead. Toast is on the Snakes.
I think the Cubs suck. I don't think they're good, and that has nothing to do with watching them play the Dodgers in Tokyo. Like, until I watch this team hit, there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to be trying to back them. I think they're very, very bad offensively. Does Kyle Tucker help that lineup? Sure. But keep in mind, Kyle Tucker was dealing with a lot of injuries the last couple of years. I know that he's played a lot, but he really hasn't been the same Kyle Tucker as he has been in the past. I think that Seihei Suzuki is an average baseball player. Bush can't hit. Swanson can't hit. Horner can't hit. Pete Crow Armstrong can do everything, but he still bats 7th in that lineup. There's nothing in the Chicago lineup that really even threatens me a little bit besides maybe Kyle Tucker. I have a lot of respect for Ian Happ, but again, if he beats me, so be it. But as far as the Arizona lineup's concerned, that thing is loaded. I mean, that was the best lineup in baseball last year, or one of the best lineups in baseball last year. And they brought everybody back for the most part. I mean, you have Marte, Carroll, Gurriel, Josh Naylor in there now. Eugenio Suarez, good vibes, baby. Randall Grichuk, another solid veteran bat. Gabriel Moreno, Jake McCarthy, who started playing well, and Perdomo, who's an all-star level shortstop that's batting in the 9-hole. Very similar to what Seattle's doing with J.P. Crawford. Like, those guys can hit 9, those guys can hit leadoff, but obviously with Marte there, he's not going to be hitting leadoff. So I just think that there's too much, and I hate Zach Gallen with everything in my body. But if there's one place that he can pitch, it's in Arizona. So again, the Cubs stink. Arizona is probably one of the best teams in baseball. We're getting them at a decent price at home. Could try to be fake sharp, Kyle. I dare you.
I don't consider it the sharpness of this bet to be fake. Okay. What do we know about Arizona? They start slow. Their bats go through hot and cold streaks, and when they're cold, they're cold. I think it's as simple as I'm not even going to argue with what Toast said about the Cubs bats until they show them they can hit. Steele's going to blank these guys. Steele's about to pitch a gem in this game, and Justin Steele. I'm betting Justin Steele money line at plus 110, not the Cubs. I want to be very clear about that. Steele's about the masterclass. Absolutely dealing. Right, Trev?
I hate that I kind of agree with you. He just got blown up in Tokyo, and nobody wants to back him in Gallen. So I hate that I kind of agree with you. You know, I kind of made this more of like a minus 115 for Arizona here, but do I want to get in bed with the Cubs? No.
I'll get into bed with them.
Shout out, Craig. You could be my guest. You know, no, thank you, but I would take the Cubs. What's first 5? Oh, minus 160. I was going to say Diamondbacks under 2.5 first 5, but that's minus 160. No, thank you.
Last game on the board, and then I'll finish up the NBA video. It's not Oakland. We got to change the graphic. We'll just make it ATH because they don't have a city.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah,
as far as the graphics are concerned.
Yeah, it's just because it's not. They're playing in Sacramento, but they're not the Sacramento Athletics, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a weird one.
So all right, we got the A's on the road against Logan Gilbert. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got Gilbert at home, and I know his splits. He was a beast on the road last year, right? Or was it the opposite? Yeah,
correct.
So maybe that's part of it. But you got Logan Gilbert, who coming into this year is projected to be a top 5, top 10 starter in baseball. So we're talking about a very highly touted starting pitcher at home against the A's. Minus 164 feels short here. So I would be inclined to play the Mariners to some capacity. Yeah, I you know what? I think I'm going to bet Seattle here. I might lay this big number. Toast?
Go ahead, Trevor. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this.
I don't want to lay that big of a number with the Seattle offense. I can just go cold. I mean, Oakland's got a decent bullpen. Severino, he's not terrible. Not to mention it's March in Seattle. It's going to be cold as hell, so the balls aren't going to be flying. I like the under in this game. I think this is honestly going to be like a 3-2 game, 3-1, something like that. Maybe even like an Oakland first 5 team total under 1.5, probably. I'm guessing 2.5, whatever it is. I wouldn't hate that. This could easily be like 2-1 after 5, 1-1 or something like that. I just think it's going to be more of a pitcher's duel, and I don't think we're going to see a lot of balls leaving the yard or getting a lot of runs in on either side, given the weather and the pitching that we have here. So I'll take the under 7 in this one.
Toast?
Oakland or Athletics, whatever you want to call it, money line for me, plus 145 or whatever it's down to now. I was wrong about Gilbert. He was probably a little bit better on the road. A little bit better at home last year on the road, but you're really splitting hairs. All seriousness, though, Sauce was not making a joke or anything. Logan Gilbert's a dark horse or a Cy Young contender. There's no question about that. He's top 5, top 10.
He's projected to be.
Yeah. So there's no question about that. I do think that this price is kind of ridiculous against an Oakland team that I think that it's much better than people want to give them credit for. I mean, Trevor mentioned it a little bit. I mean, this Seattle lineup is absolutely terrible. I mean, it seemed like 7 nights a week last year, we would be sitting in the Discord or together and talking about how bad this Seattle lineup was. And then every once in a while, they would have some crazy 7th or 8th inning that would score 5 runs and we'd all be happy. But for the most part, we left pissed off after watching Mariners baseball. And do I think that Julio Rodriguez bounces back? Sure. But at the same time,
Randy's the bounce back.
Yeah, probably. I like Randy Rosarina a lot. But
don't forget they got Rowdy now too.
Yeah, he made the team.
I think the Mariners might be good.
Dude, you are.
Every year, everybody says this is the year.
No, not me, though. I'm not a Seattle Mariners guy. I think the Mariners might be good. They have a lot of talent in that lineup. And we're all just writing the Mariners lineup off as bad because we're like, oh, the Mariners, they can't hit. If you actually look at that lineup, there's bats in there. Rosarina.
They just don't do nothing.
Agreed. I agree with you to that point that I think that their lineup can be better. I think that Robles at the top of that really changes things for them. He did get hit the other day. I think he's going to be fine. But just like I talked about with the Diamondbacks, having a guy like J.P. Crawford, who was another one of our hits, runs, and RBI princes last year, that continues to hit well. I mean, that's very good for them. But my point is that Oakland. Okay, I don't think the starting pitching advantage is as big as everybody makes it up to seem because you have Logan Gilbert with that shitty lineup behind him, and you have Oakland's lineup who's actually really damn good. I mean, Butler, Rooker, Blade, Langoliers. I mean, Shea Langoliers is one of the best players that nobody knows who the hell he is. I mean, he's constantly playing really decent baseball. I mean, pretty much a 700 OPS guy. I mean, he doesn't really hit for that much of average, but if you're going to give me 700 OPS out of my catcher, I'm going to take that all day. Again, I talked about guys like Max Muncy and stuff that should be playing well as a rookie regardless. Gio Rochella is another really solid veteran bat in that lineup, but it's the bullpens that change everything for me. Let's just call everything a wash. If there was one thing that we loved about Seattle last year is that they know that they had a fantastic bullpen. They have a lot of guys back, but at the same time, they do have Munoz, and if he comes into the game as a closer, again, we're probably already cooked. But Snyder, Santos, Thornton, Saucedo, all those guys are really kind of trying to take the next step in their career. So again, I have to start seeing it before we just pencil in as Seattle as another really good bullpen that like we had last year. But we can pencil or use our pens with Oakland, because Mason Miller is a certified stud. Jose Leclerc is somebody that's won a World Series ring and he can be trusted, and it actually started to pitch somewhat well last year and has a 30% K rate, which is really, really good. Tyler Ferguson is another guy with a 30% K rate with an ERA in the mid threes that really held it down last year for them. I mean, only had a couple saves, but held almost like 15 games, and a hold is like when you come in the 7th or the 8th inning and keep the lead for them. So there's a lot of positions in this Oakland game where I feel like they're at least level, if not better than Seattle. And you're going to give me a huge plus price because they're on the road. I've already bet Oakland. Oakland is definitely a play for me tomorrow. There's no question about it.
All right. Tomorrow, the schedule is 1 p.m. It'll be me, Toast, and we got a special guest coming on, first-time guest, and we're going to do the opening day special. I'll have placed the bets, some bets by then, so I'll let you know which ones I bet. Then at 4 p.m., normal time. Trev, are you working tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm out.
Let me know. If either I'll reach out to the Pump Fake guys, see if any of them can join. It'll be at 4 p.m. It's me, Moneyline Mac, and if one of them could join to talk some Sweet 16, I'll reach out to Huffer.
I mean, we could do a car edition again.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So, all right, yeah. So see you all at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 12 hours from now. All the bets are posted. I have 2 NBA bets up. If you want to go check them out, small bets for tomorrow. Toast has a whole sheet of MLB bets if you want to go check them out. I'll be uploading an NBA video in about an hour, so if you want to just wait till then, that's fine too. See you all in the morning. Bet responsibly and all that. Later.